The following recording was documented in the early morning hours of November 14th. The emergency call was received at 2:18 a.m. A resident reported repeated footsteps in the hallway on the third floor. The problem was, the apartment in question had been vacant for over 3 years. At 2:26 a.m., a patrol unit arrived at the building. There were no signs of forced entry at the front door. The officer activated his body camera before entering the stairwell. Upon entry, he immediately noted how unusually quiet the building was. Not the normal silence of the night, but a muted stillness as if every sound was being absorbed. On the third floor, radio communication remained clear only briefly. After that, interference began. The hallway was dark. Several doors stood slightly open, although according to the property management, nobody lived there. Moments later, the officer heard a sound coming from the last apartment at the end of the corridor. A slow, rhythmic knocking. He assumed someone had gained unauthorized access to the unit. The door was slightly ajar. Inside the apartment, there were no personal belongings, no electricity, no active water connection. And yet, in the living room, a chair was moving. Slowly, steadily, as if someone had just stood up. In his later report, the officer described a feeling of being observed. He had the distinct impression he was not alone. He turned his flashlight toward the hallway behind him. For less than a second, the camera captured a dark silhouette standing in the doorway at the far end of the corridor. The figure did not move, it simply stood there. The officer immediately approached the door. When he reached it, the room beyond was empty. At 2:31 a.m., radio communication was completely lost. The final seconds of the recording show erratic movement, flickering lights, and a sudden cutoff. The officer exited the building minutes later. He later stated that during his departure, he continued hearing footsteps behind him, perfectly synchronized with his own. A search of the building the following morning revealed no evidence of another person inside. The incident was officially closed without explanation. The body camera file was archived. Officially, the event was classified as an unexplained misperception. The officer requested a transfer later that same day.